Okay, this video I'm going to talk about what to do with your multiple exports. So you've done your original export. Each time you make a change to um, an ad, so say for example, I'll tell you what kind of changes. Like changes where maybe something was spelled incorrectly, or there was an extra space in somewhere like that, or take out is another one, like gluten free. Like every time it says take out, we're trying to, for style reasons, we have all the takeouts looking like this. So each time you make little changes like that, there's too many spaces in here, or there's no period there, all that kind of stuff. Make the change in here, but then um, go back to the database and make the change again, just so that in future exports, it's just every time you export it, like next year, you don't have to make these fixes again, because it's a pain in the bum. So when you're ready to do another export, you come to Reports, Export to InDesign. Here's my export. You're gonna name it the date 2013 07 13, because this is the second one of the day. I'm going to call it B. I'm going to move it. Okay, it's in my downloads folder. Now I know where it is. So now we're going to do a comparison between the export that we did earlier and the export from just now. So this does cost money. I just have a $15 free pass right now. If $15, 15 day. If you think you're going to be done in 15 days, then just do that. Otherwise, you buy it, or you can get TVA to buy it. I'm not sure. You can talk to David about it, but it's vital to doing the directory. So drag in your first file, and then you're going to drag in your new file. It's a good idea just to put them all in one folder, and then you have them all in one spot. And the way I like having it is I like having the old one on the left and the new one on the right. And then you just scroll down and it shows you this is what your first one said, but hey, this is what it says now, because we went in and assigned it to be a cafe. So anytime that you see a big purple line, then there'll be a different. Then you'll know you have to make a change. If it was in the text, or say maybe you made an ad, the ad wasn't there before, there'd basically just be a big blank space here, and then a big color over top, and then over here would be your new ad. So all you do is you just grab this, make note of what was above it, and then when you go to your document, then you know where to put in the new ad. And then you would go through and replace your icons and change all the character styles and stuff like that. So it'll do two things for you. It'll tell you, and also if you deleted something, so maybe you had an ad in here but then you removed it, it'll show you that, hey, that ad that you put in before, it's gone now. And if you meant to delete it, then that's good. If it was a change, it would just be a color over top of it. If it was a text change to the text, I would honestly just copy and paste it and not try and look at this and then come over here and type it in, because I don't want any mistakes like that. I just want whatever it is that was in the export, I copied and pasted it into my document, not I decided to look at one and then type it in myself. Because it's a CCC, I don't really need to copy this and paste it in here, because all I'm going to be doing is putting an icon on top. So we see here how it says fix it. That's basically all this is doing, is it's telling you where to look to make your changes. So we're looking at the Beet Organic Cafe. As we see here, it did say fix it, and we want it to say CCC. So we come to our thing, we copy the meat icon. Lost my export. Did I close it? Don't know where it is, but then we would paste that on top. So basically all I'm showing you here is you basically just drag and drop the last export you did, and then the next time you'll be using this one, and then whatever other day it is on this side. So don't always compare, obviously, to this one. You're going to compare to the last document that you did to the new export that you did, and that's how the export works. I can't think of anything else. I know this program does a lot more, but this is how we use it. You just drop the two documents in. I have no idea what these buttons do. Oh, this will maybe jump to things. Oh, this just switches them back and forth. Anyways, that's it for that export. I think I'd like to look at the document again to think if... Sorry, I have too many windows open on my machine. It's really bothering me. There. Okay. There was a weird... I just saw it. This. Hors d'oeuvres. I guess it doesn't like the icon that we have. Sorry. It doesn't like the this thing, the comma that was in the document. I don't know if going back and changing would work. That has something to do with like rich character styles, and I don't think you going into the database and fixing that is gonna fix it in the export. But sometimes weird things like that happen, and if you're looking to make these weird characters and they don't we knew from looking at hors d'oeuvres what the character was that it was having problems with. See, it doesn't have a problem with this one. Oh, I remember something. Okay, so basically little things like this have to do, like little special characters have to do with character styles. And the fact that this is showing up as a problem means that they probably wrote it in Word, and then we copied it from Word and put it into the ad, and then when it exported, it didn't like it because it had all this Word character styles built into it. So how do you know if you have a rich character or not? 3 times. So, ads, cafe. Oh, see here, it doesn't look good there. So if we fix it here, it's going to export fine. But you can see here how last year someone fixed it manually, me, and I didn't go back and fix it in the database. So this year you're dealing with my problem. Sorry. Let's go to cafe. Okay. How do you know if you have a problem? I want to try and make it for you, but I can't. You can see how this, if you zoom in and you look at it really closely, you can tell if it's a rich character style or not. You can see how this comma, it's basically just an up and down line. It's not a nice round circle with a curly tail on it. That's kind of too fancy, and this is where we really have the problems, is with these. I know it's not a comma, but whatever it is, look at how wrong everything is here. See how there's no dot there? That's not good. There should be a dot. Anyways, if you do an export and you get funny things like that, it's probably because they gave you something in Word, or you opened it in Word and you copied and pasted it and then put it in here, and there was rich character attached to it. How do you get the rich characters? Get rid of them. An easy way to do it is if you have mail on your computer. If you have mail on your computer, and then you go to paste the document in and hold down Shift, Option, Command V for paste. That will paste it in without fancy characters. I'm trying to think of examples to do for you, and I can't. Okay, so see how I could copy something from a website and I pasted it in. It's got all this color and whatever around it. That's just doing a paste. If I do Shift Option Command V, then when it pastes it in, it strips out all of that extra stuff that was in there. Okay, that also works in Gmail. Well, hey, I'm still logged in as you. Surprise. If you paste something in here and then click on plain text, then it'll strip all that stuff out. So basically, if someone gives you a Word document, copy information from it, put it into one of your mail problems, strip out the formatting, and then you won't have any problems with those funny things that we were looking at. Okay, I'm sure I'll think of other problems, or you'll come across extra problems, and if you do, just let me know, because I don't want you hitting your head on problems. The first time I did this, I spent so much time trying to figure out character styles, like hours, like 5 hours, where I should have just asked. So please just ask. I can find time. Here's an example here that because this company is in Brampton, we have the city in here. Nothing else says Toronto because this is a Toronto directory, and we don't put Toronto in. Now, the easiest thing to do would be to make this a little bit smaller, not that small. How come these videos are fun because you have to watch me mess up? So that's probably what I would do, but really, you know, because they have an extra special phone number that has to have these extra 6 characters in here, we took out the www. Brampton needs to be in there. You can check their ad and see what they paid for. But that's kind of an anomaly that things would be long like that. The reason, like, the line is supposed to be 50 character spaces, and that's why, just so that that doesn't happen all the time. So in 2013, no, in 2012, this is their ad. They just paid for a 2-line listing, and then they paid for a 2-line extra, which is what they got here. So there's their 2-line listing, and then there's their 2-line extra. If we look at their ads here, we can see, but see here, see how it says 51? So I wouldn't have thought I would need to charge them an extra line, but because these take up so much space, it pushed it onto an extra line. So because it's at 51, that's probably why I didn't charge them an extra line, because it's really just one character. But because of the characters that we're using, like a C is bigger than an L, you know, and because we have all these dashes in here, which are kind of big, it pushed it onto another line. So that's why I think for these guys, I wouldn't charge them an extra line, because it's really just one character. But if it was, you know, if they were in Toronto and they wanted to have Toronto in there, I'd just take this out. Or I would suggest to them, hey, let's take out your website from here and put it in there, whatever. Like, it doesn't work for this example, but you might suggest to them, hey, I know you want to have your email address up in here, but it's not going to fit, so you're going to have to pay for an extra line at the bottom. Or because maybe their ad was only like this, then you could suggest to them, because your address line is so long up here and you're going up to 56 characters, it can only be 50 characters, so we're going to put your website at the bottom. And then what I would do is I would give them do a screenshot of it for them, and then email it to them so that they see it. It's not very often that you have to tweak things like that. Ying Ying's Organic Tofu, you can see how, let's look at their ad. Okay, so now I'm just going over how I fix things and how I have rules and they change, but maybe that's useful, I hope. Okay, so we're in 2013. This is what their ad looked like last year. Oh, it says here, not included above, but extra line given for free 2012. So remember how I told you how sometimes you get extra space? And it's because this is another place that I guess I could have been information. I told you to check your email and to check the invoice, but here's another place I put notes. But I see here you've figured it out already. But if we hadn't have done all this extra stuff for them and they had paid for 2 lines, I probably would just bump this down like this because it looks nicer than having a break in a URL, which really isn't good because URL people will put in this dash and that doesn't exist in URL. So I'd probably do this just to make it look better. Right? Okay. Now stuff like this, here's another one that's kind of pushed onto another line. Let's see what we usually do for these guys. They've been in the directory for a long time, so if something doesn't make sense, it might be because, well, that's how it was done before Angela, so that's how Angela did it. And now you're having to deal with the way Steve did things, not just the way that I did things. Okay, so print listing here. So they're at 59 characters, and it's supposed to be at 50 characters. So you can see what's happened here is the way that the ad was last year is that we push the phone number onto the next line. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they have 4 lines of extra text. So in 2012, they paid for 4 lines, okay? So what we did for them was, let's just put this all in one line so you can see it. Oh, don't do that. Okay, so this is what their ad exported at. So what we did was we put this onto another line and we did this because they still get 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, okay? Instead of it being like that. So basically this extra space here is being used up by that phone number. So you can see how, you know, consistency makes life easier if everything's always the same. And the reason that they have this north of Eglinton, east of Yonge is that's the way, 1, it was done before me, and 2, no one knows where Broadway Avenue is. It's not like some of these other places that you're like, oh, Queen Street, I know where that is. This street is really tucked in a way, and it's hard to find. So I think it's really useful for them to have this information, but it's not something that we usually advocate because more people would rather have their website in there than having the directions to their store. And because this ad's been in here for so long, this is just the way that they've done it. So if they were going to change their ad, I would say, look, get rid of this and just put your URL in there. That's what I would do. Okay, that's all I can think of for now. Please let me know if you have any questions about anything because I want, you know, you're running short on time and I was late getting this video to you, but I want to help as much as I can. So you can see here now, just by me doing, no, I don't really make a big difference. Now we're on to the 5th column, but maybe we were before anyways. I would suggest not moving the maps around. Oh yeah, I was talking about maps. Or maybe I didn't. There's nothing in the database that tells you if someone's on a map or not. So basically, once you get so far, pull out an old, like last year's edition of the directory, have it in front of you, and go through each line, and if they were on a map before, and if they're still in the directory this year, put the map icon in there. And the map icon goes right before the address, so right before the 50 there, if they were on a map, then right in there is where you would put the map key. If you need to add someone to a map, just copy and paste whatever it is that they are from another map, and then put it. See, I copied and pasted it. Where did it go? I don't know. Because if you like make a text box, there it is. So it went behind this. You kind of got to watch where it goes. There we go. Um, if you make a text box and you have to like get the right font and you got to angle it the right, you have to rotate it to the right angle, all that stuff. So if I'm adding someone to a map, I just find the icon that they're in, I copy it, and I paste it, and then I put it where I want it to go on the map. Try not to cover up the big streets behind it, and try not to cover up the little TTC icons. So, like right now, this big carrot is covering up Greenwood. Try not to do that. Try and, it doesn't matter where it goes, but just try, so say the restaurant's there, just put the text maybe close to it like that instead of over top of the word Greenwood. It's a simple thing, but, you know, I thought I'd mention it. If you do a paste and you don't know where it goes, it might have gone onto a different layer. So you can see how there's a green line around the outside of this. It shows us that we're on the green layer here. For some reason, if it's still, you're still not knowing why you can't see it, it might have been somehow put to the back. So you can see that the box is there, but we're not seeing the icon. Then go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front, and it'll place it on top of everything else. So once you go through the directory and you make sure that everybody who was in the directory before is on the map, and they're actually on the map, and they have the blue icon of what map they're on in their address line, then you can go through and all the new places, put them on the map. For example, here, we don't do these little stupid arrows very often, but this map is so slender. If something's within, like, basically these, the Windsor Arms and Pure and Simple, well, Windsor Arms is basically just where it is right now. Pure and Simple is kind of over at University, so I would say the streets here. If it's within, I would say, a 5-minute walking distance from the edge of your map, I would say it's okay to put the arrow in. If it's like a subway stop over or like a half-an-hour walk, like if you look at it on Google, you know, so say my map ended here at Carlaw, but I wanted to put the big carrot on, I wouldn't put the icon here and then a line over, because the distance between Pape and Greenwood is huge. Basically, this should indicate that if you're at this map, you could walk very easily over to where that is. Some places say, I don't want to be in the directory if I'm not on the map. Say, look, you're not on the map. Like, it's strict within, you know, if I can walk there from 5 minutes, it's fine. But if you're in a different neighborhood and it takes, you know, if you're like half an hour walk, then it's not going to work. Okay? That's how the maps work. That's what I can think of for now. Again, please let me know if you have any questions on anything, and I'd like to help you as much as I can. Okay.